I'm sitting in the jeweler's office, and my hands won't stop shaking. Detective Morrison is across from me, his notepad open, and I can see the word fraud underlined twice on the page. The necklace, the beautiful diamond necklace my husband Michael gave me for our 10th anniversary, is sealed in an evidence bag on the mahogany desk between us. Mrs. Patterson, Detective Morrison says, not unkindly, I understand this is difficult, but I need you to walk me through exactly what happened when you brought it in for cleaning. I nod, swallowing hard. 3 days ago, I was the happiest woman in Colorado Springs. Now I'm sitting in a police station trying to understand how the man I've loved for 15 years could do this to me. Let me back up. Let me tell you about the life I thought I had. Michael and I met at a networking event in 2009. I was working as a marketing director at a tech startup downtown, and he was a commercial real estate broker with his own firm. He was charming, ambitious, and he had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the room when he talked to you. We married in 2015. A beautiful ceremony at the Broadmoor. White roses everywhere, 200 guests. My mother wore that blue dress she'd been saving for years, and she cried through the whole ceremony. We bought our house in the Ridgemont neighborhood in 2016. It's a 4-bedroom colonial with black shutters and a wraparound porch. 2.5 baths, a finished basement, and a yard where I planted hydrangeas that first spring. The mortgage was steep, but Michael's business was booming. He was closing deals left and right. Shopping centers, office parks, apartment complexes. He'd come home with stories about multi-million-dollar contracts, and I'd listen while making dinner, feeling proud of him. I never worked after the kids came. We had Emma in 2017 and David in 2019. Michael wanted me to stay home, and honestly, I wanted it too. I loved being with them, watching Emma learn to read, hearing David's first words. Michael was the provider. I was the home. It felt traditional, safe, right. We had the life everyone envies. Vacations to Cancun and Colorado ski resorts, a Range Rover in the driveway, and a Tesla in the garage. Dinner parties where I'd serve homemade pasta, and Michael would pour expensive wine. My best friend Jennifer would say, Ashley, you've got it all figured out. Your life is perfect. And I believed her. Michael was generous with money, not flashy, just quietly generous. He'd surprise me with gifts, a Tiffany bracelet for my birthday, a designer purse for no reason at all. But the necklace was supposed to be special. Our 10th anniversary. He took me to this exclusive jeweler downtown, Ashford and Pearson, the kind of place where they don't have prices in the window. We'd been before, casually, just looking. But this time Michael was different. He was focused, intense. I want something that says forever, he told the jeweler, a distinguished man named Mr. Pearson himself. Something she'll never take off. The necklace was stunning, a 3-carat diamond solitaire on a platinum chain. It caught the light and threw rainbows across the walls. Michael didn't even ask the price. He just signed the paperwork, and 2 weeks later, he surprised me with it on our anniversary dinner. For the woman who makes everything worthwhile, he whispered, fastening it around my neck in the restaurant. I wore it every single day. Every single day. It felt like armor, like proof that I was loved, that my choices had been the right ones. I'd catch my reflection in the mirror and feel grateful. This was my life. This was what I'd chosen. That was 18 months ago. Last Tuesday, I decided to get the necklace professionally cleaned. It had been a while, and I wanted it to shine again. I made an appointment at Ashford and Pearson on my lunch break while the kids were at school. Mr. Pearson wasn't there. A younger woman named Sarah helped me. She was friendly, efficient. She put the necklace under the jeweler's loupe and started examining it. Then she stopped. Her face changed. I watched it happen in real time, the subtle shift from professional friendliness to something else. Concern. Mrs. Patterson, she said slowly, can I ask you something? Where did you get this necklace? My husband bought it here, I said. From Mr. Pearson, about 1.5 years ago. Sarah set down the loupe and looked at me directly. I need to get Mr. Pearson. Can you wait just a moment? My stomach started doing something then. Not quite dropping, but tightening. Like when you're on a roller coaster and you see the big drop coming. Mr. Pearson came out. He was older, maybe 70, with kind eyes and silver hair. But those eyes weren't kind when he looked at the necklace. He looked at me, then at Sarah, then back at the necklace. Mrs. Patterson, this diamond is a cubic zirconia, he said. This is not the necklace we sold your husband. The world tilted. I remember laughing. Actually laughing, because it was absurd. No, that's impossible. He bought it here. I have the receipt at home. I'm sure you do, Mr. Pearson said gently. But I assure you, this is not a natural diamond. This is an imitation. A very good imitation, but an imitation nonetheless. The setting is platinum, that's real. But the stone, Mrs. Patterson, whoever gave you this necklace did not give you what they paid for. That's when I called the police. That's when I sat in the parking lot of Ashford and Pearson and couldn't breathe. And that's when I realized I didn't know my husband at all. I sat in my car in the parking lot of Ashford and Pearson for 45 minutes without moving. The engine was off. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't hold my phone steady. Cubic zirconia. The word kept repeating in my head like a broken record. Cubic zirconia. Cubic zirconia. I'd worn a fake diamond around my neck for 18 months. A 3-carat fake. I'd touched it 1,000 times, felt it catch the light, felt proud. I'd worn it to Emma's school functions, to dinner parties, to the grocery store. Everyone had seen it. Everyone had probably known. The first thing I did was call Michael. My hands were still shaking when I dialed. Hey, babe, he answered on the second ring. His voice was warm, normal, like nothing was wrong, like the world hadn't just tilted on its axis. What's up? I'm in a meeting with the Lakeside Development team, but I can talk. I couldn't speak. There was a sound coming out of my throat, but it wasn't words. It was something between a laugh and a sob. Ashley, are you okay? Where are you? I managed. I told you, downtown, the office. What's wrong? I need you to come home, right now. There was a pause. I could hear him breathing. I could hear. I can't leave right now. We're going over the final specs on a $2 million project. What's going on? Are the kids okay? Did something happen? Just come home, I whispered. And I hung up. I drove home in a daze. The Colorado Springs autumn was beautiful that day. The leaves were turning gold. The sky was that perfect clear blue that only happens in October. It made me sick. It made me want to scream. How dare the world be beautiful when mine was falling apart? When I got home, I went straight to the bathroom and stood in front of the mirror. I unfastened the necklace with shaking fingers and held it up to the light. It looked exactly the same as it always had. The diamond caught the light and threw tiny rainbows across my face. How could it be fake? How could I not have known? I put it on the bathroom counter and stared at it for 10 minutes. Then I threw it in a drawer. Michael got home at 5 o'clock. He came through the garage entrance, already talking. No, okay. So I had to leave the meeting early, which cost me a small fortune in delayed contracts. So this better be... He stopped when he saw my face. What happened? He asked. He actually looked concerned. He was good at that. So good. I took the necklace to get cleaned today, I said quietly. At Ashford and Pearson. I watched his face. I was looking for something. A flicker of guilt, a hesitation, anything. But he just looked confused. Okay. And? And the jeweler said it's fake. He said the diamond is cubic zirconia. He said that's not what you bought. For a moment, Michael didn't move. He just stared at me. Then he sat down heavily on the kitchen counter stool. That's impossible, he said. That's what I said. But he was very clear about it. Mr. Pearson himself came out and looked at it. He said it's not the necklace you purchased from his store. Michael's face was doing something. He was pale. His jaw was clenched. Did you tell him I bought it there? Yes. I told him you bought it from him. About 18 months ago. And he said they have no record of selling a cubic zirconia necklace. Then he's lying, Michael said flatly. Or you misunderstood him. We bought that necklace from that store. I have the paperwork. We can look it up. I want to see the paperwork, I said. He got up and went to his office without another word. I heard him opening drawers, moving things around. Then he came back out with a leather folder. He opened it and pulled out a receipt. Here, he said, handing it to me. Ashford and Pearson, 3-carat diamond solitaire on platinum chain, $28,000. I looked at the receipt. It was printed on expensive-looking paper with the Ashford and Pearson logo at the top. The date was March 15th, 2023. The description was exactly what he'd described. $28,000. I felt my stomach drop all over again. I'll call them tomorrow, I said. Something's wrong. Either they made a mistake or what? Michael asked sharply. Or you bought it somewhere else. I didn't buy it somewhere else, he snapped. I bought it from Ashford and Pearson. I remember the whole thing. We went there together. You picked it out. I did remember. I remembered the store, the jeweler, the moment Michael fastened it around my neck. But I also remembered that I'd been distracted that day. Emma had been sick. I'd been worried about her. I hadn't paid close attention to the paperwork. We'll figure it out tomorrow, I said. But my voice sounded hollow, even to me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay next to Michael in the dark, listening to him breathe, trying to figure out who he was. The man next to me had given me a fake diamond necklace, and either lied about where it came from or had somehow obtained a fake receipt from an actual jewelry store. Neither option was good. Both were impossible. At 3 in the morning, I got up and went to Michael's office. I opened his desk drawer and started looking through his papers. Credit card statements, bank statements. I found receipts from restaurants, hotels, car service. Nothing unusual. Nothing that would explain a fake necklace. I was about to give up when I found a file labeled Personal. Inside were more statements. From a different bank. A bank account I didn't know Michael had. The most recent statement showed a balance of $73,000. I sat back on his office chair, the statement in my hands. A secret bank account. $73,000. My mind started racing through possibilities, each one worse than the last. Was he leaving me? Was he hiding money for a divorce? Was he having an affair and paying for it? Was he gambling? I heard Michael's footsteps in the hallway. I shoved the statement back in the folder and closed the drawer, my heart pounding. He appeared in the doorway, squinting in the dark. Ashley, what are you doing in here? I couldn't sleep, I said. My voice came out steadier than I felt. I was just thinking. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he came over and kissed the top of my head. Come back to bed. We'll call the jeweler in the morning and straighten this out. I followed him back to bed, but I didn't sleep. I lay there thinking about that bank account, about the fake necklace, about the man sleeping next to me who I suddenly didn't know at all. The next morning, I called Ashford and Pearson as soon as they opened. Mr. Pearson answered the phone himself. Mr. Pearson, it's Ashley Patterson. I was in yesterday with my necklace, and you told me it was cubic zirconia. Yes, Mrs. Patterson, I remember. I'm very sorry about the situation. I need to know for certain. Is there any way my husband could have purchased a cubic zirconia necklace from your store? There was a long pause. Mrs. Patterson, we've reviewed our records this morning. We have no record of your husband purchasing anything from us in the past 5 years. The only transaction under his name is a bracelet he purchased in 2019. The phone felt slippery in my hand. That's not possible. He has a receipt. From your store. For $28,000. I understand this is upsetting, Mr. Pearson said carefully. But I need to be honest with you. We believe the receipt may be fraudulent. Our store receipts have a very specific security feature, a hologram that changes color depending on the angle. If you look at the receipt under different lighting, you should be able to see it shift from blue to green. Can you check that? I told him I would and hung up. I found the receipt in Michael's office. In the morning light, I tilted it in different angles. The hologram shifted. Blue to green. Just like Mr. Pearson said. My hands started shaking again. Michael came into the office while I was staring at the receipt. Did you reach them? Yes, I said quietly. And they said they have no record of you buying a necklace. Just a bracelet in 2019. I watched his face. This time I saw it. A flash of something. Fear. Guilt. Something. That's ridiculous, he said. But his voice had changed. It had an edge to it now. They're covering themselves. They sold us a fake diamond, and now they're denying it. Mr. Pearson said the receipt might be fraudulent. Michael laughed. It was an ugly sound. Of course he did. That's exactly what he'd say if he sold us a cubic zirconia and wanted to avoid a lawsuit. But I could see the sweat on his upper lip. I could see the way his hands clenched into fists at his sides. Michael, where did you really get the necklace? I told you, Ashford and Pearson. You're lying, I said. The words came out before I could stop them. He looked at me like I'd slapped him. I'm not lying. Then explain the secret bank account, the one with $73,000 in it. The color drained from his face. For a moment, he didn't say anything. Then he turned and walked out of the office. I heard the garage door open. By the time I got to the window, he was backing the Range Rover out of the driveway. He didn't come home that night, or the next night. By the third night, I'd called his office and learned he hadn't been there either. His assistant, Karen, sounded worried. Mrs. Patterson, we've all been trying to reach him. He missed 2 major client meetings. That's not like him at all. Is everything okay? No, I said. Everything is not okay. I hung up and sat on my kitchen floor in the dark. My marriage, my life, everything I thought I had. It was all built on a lie. The necklace was just the symptom. There was something much bigger wrong, and I was only beginning to understand the scale of it. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I opened it, and my blood went cold. Mrs. Patterson, this is Detective Morrison with the Colorado Springs Police Department. We need to talk about the necklace and your husband. Can you come into the station tomorrow at 10 a.m.? My heart started racing. The police? Why would the police be involved? I texted back, Why? What's happened? The response came quickly. Mr. Pearson filed a report. He believes your husband may be running a fraud operation. The necklace might be part of a larger scheme. We'd like your cooperation. I read the message 3 times. A fraud operation. Michael, my husband. The man I'd built my entire life around. And suddenly, I understood that I didn't know him at all. That the life I thought I had was an illusion, as fake as the diamond around my neck. I'd been living in someone else's story. Now I had to figure out whose. I walked into the Colorado Springs Police Department with Detective Morrison's text still burning in my mind. The station smelled like old coffee and fluorescent lights. Sterile, official, unforgiving. Morrison was waiting for me in a small interview room with beige walls and a metal table. There was another detective with him, a woman named Detective Chen with sharp eyes and a notebook. Mrs. Patterson, thank you for coming in, Morrison said, gesturing to the chair across from them. I know this is difficult. What's this about? I asked, though I already knew. The necklace, the fake diamond. Michael. Mr. Pearson came to us with some concerns, Chen said, opening a folder. He wasn't just worried about your necklace, he was worried about a pattern. They showed me photographs, dozens of them. Necklaces, rings, bracelets. All beautiful, all supposedly diamond or high-carat gold. All fake. All with Ashford and Pearson's receipt. We've been investigating for 3 weeks, Morrison explained. Since Mr. Pearson first noticed the pattern, we've identified 47 victims, women who bought jewelry from Ashford and Pearson, all of them married to men in commercial real estate. All of them given fake diamonds with authentic receipts. My mouth went dry. 47 women, 47 fake gifts, 47 marriages built on lies. Your husband, Michael Patterson, appears to be the central figure in this scheme, Chen continued. He's been buying cubic zirconia and other imitation stones from a supplier in Nevada, then having them set in real gold and platinum, Then he's been creating counterfeit Ashford and Pearson receipts, very sophisticated counterfeits, and giving them to his wives as anniversary gifts. His wives? I whispered. Plural? The detectives exchanged a look. Chen slid another photograph across the table. It was Michael, but he was younger, and he was standing next to a woman I didn't recognize, their arms around each other. They were at a wedding venue. That's from 2011, Chen said. Michael Patterson married Jennifer Hartley in Denver. They divorced in 2014. She received a diamond necklace for their anniversary in 2012. It tested as cubic zirconia 3 months ago. Another photo. Michael again, this time with a blonde woman at a ski resort. He married Karen Mitchell in 2015. They separated 2 years ago. She also received a fake diamond necklace. She never had it appraised. Another photo. Another woman. Another fake necklace. I felt the room spinning. How many? I asked. We've confirmed 3 marriages before yours, Morrison said quietly. There may be more. We're still investigating. He married them, I said, the words not making sense even as they came out of my mouth. He actually married them. Yes, Chen said, and he appears to have done it while still married to you. We found marriage certificates. He married Jennifer Hartley in 2011 while still married to his first wife, Patricia Summers. He married you in 2015 while still married to Jennifer. We're still untangling the timeline, but it appears Michael Patterson has been committing bigamy and fraud for at least 15 years. I couldn't breathe. The room was tilting. I was trying to do the math in my head. If he married me in 2015, and he was married to Jennifer in 2011, and Patricia before that. The children, I said suddenly. Michael has 2 children with me. Are we even legally married? That's for a family law attorney to determine, Morrison said gently. But we're treating this as a serious felony. Wire fraud, identity fraud, bigamy, forgery. We have enough to charge him. Where is he? I asked. That's the problem, Chen said. He disappeared 3 days ago. We have officers looking for him, but he's been smart about it. We found evidence he's been moving money around. Lots of money. The bank account you found, with $73,000? That was just one account. We've identified 6 more. He's been systematically moving cash out of accounts for the past week. My hands were shaking again. I pressed them flat against the table to stop them. Mrs. Patterson, we need your cooperation, Morrison continued. We need you to help us understand his movements, his associates, where he might go. Do you have any idea where he might be? I thought about it. Michael's favorite places, his office downtown, his parents' house in Fort Collins, the cabin he'd mentioned owning up in the mountains, a cabin I'd never actually seen. There's a cabin, I said, in the mountains. I don't know exactly where. He's mentioned it, but he's never taken me there. Chen was already writing. Do you have any documentation? Address? Deed? Anything? I shook my head. I never saw anything. He just talked about it. A place to get away. We'll look into it, Morrison said. In the meantime, I need to ask you some difficult questions. When you met your husband, did anything seem unusual? Anything that, in retrospect, raises red flags? I spent the next 2 hours answering questions. How we met. How he proposed. The timeline of our relationship. The gifts. The money. The story of our life together. A story that now seemed like a carefully constructed lie. When I finally left the police station, it was dark outside. The Colorado Springs evening was cold. I sat in my car in the parking lot for a long time, staring at nothing. My phone rang. It was my mother. Ashley, honey, where are you? I've been trying to reach you all day. I'm at the police station, Mom, I said flatly. Michael's a bigamist and a fraud. We're not actually married. The necklace was fake. Everything was fake. There was a long silence. Then my mother said the only thing she could say. Come home. I'm sending your father to pick you up. But I didn't go home. I drove to Jennifer's house. I found her address through the police report. She lived in a small house in northeast Colorado Springs, not far from my neighborhood. When she answered the door, I saw myself looking back at me. Same confused expression, same shell-shocked eyes. She knew who I was immediately. "You're her," Jennifer said. "The current wife." "I was," I said. "I don't know what I am now." She let me inside. Her house was modest, lived in, nothing like my perfectly decorated colonial. There were photos on the walls, Jennifer and Michael at the Grand Canyon, in front of the Eiffel Tower, at a beach somewhere tropical. Photos of a life I thought was mine. "How long have you known?" I asked. 3 days, Jennifer said. The detective came to my house. She showed me everything. I haven't slept since. "How many of us are there?" I asked. 4 that they've confirmed. They think there might be more, but the paperwork is a mess. Some of the marriages might be void because of the bigamy. She laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "We're like a club, the fake Diamond Wives Club." "Did you ever suspect?" I asked. "No," Jennifer said. "God, no. I loved him. I really did. I thought our marriage was real." We sat together in her living room and talked until midnight. We talked about the moments we thought were special, the gifts, the romantic dinners, the vacations. We talked about how he'd left us, how he'd moved on to the next wife, the next life, the next lie. We compared notes like detectives ourselves, trying to figure out when the deception had started, if there had ever been a moment of truth. "I think he's a sociopath," Jennifer said finally. "I've been reading about it. The charm, the manipulation, the complete lack of remorse. He doesn't feel anything, Ashley. That's what I can't understand. How do you not feel anything?" I didn't have an answer. The next morning they found him. The cabin was in the San Isabel National Forest, about 40 minutes outside of Colorado Springs. He'd been there the whole time, holed up with a laptop and a suitcase full of cash. The FBI arrested him as he was trying to drive away. I watched it on the news. Michael in handcuffs, his face blank, his expensive suit wrinkled from days of wear. He looked like a stranger. He looked like a man I'd never known at all. The arraignment was 2 weeks later. The courtroom was packed, news cameras outside. The fake diamond heist had made national news. "Bigamist's fake diamond scheme defrauds multiple wives," the headlines screamed. I sat in the back of the courtroom with Jennifer and Karen, another wife we'd found, and watched as Michael was led in. He saw us, and for a moment, something flickered across his face. Not remorse, not guilt, just calculation. He was already thinking about his defense, his next move, how to minimize the damage. His lawyer, an expensive woman from Denver, argued that he was a victim of mental illness, that he needed treatment, not prison. Michael claimed he'd been trying to give his wives what they wanted: the appearance of wealth, the symbol of devotion, the necklace that meant forever. "I love all of them," he said from the stand. The words were so absurd, so obviously false, that the judge actually looked away. The prosecutor was merciless. She showed the receipts, the bank statements, the evidence of systematic, premeditated fraud. She showed the timeline of marriages, the pattern of abandonment, the way he'd left each wife with nothing but a fake diamond and a ruined life. When the judge sentenced him, 15 years in federal prison, restitution of $280,000, Michael didn't react. He just stared straight ahead, as if none of it mattered. As if we didn't matter. As we walked out of the courthouse, Jennifer grabbed my hand. "We're going to be okay," she said. "All of us. We're going to be better than okay. Because we're real. We survived him. He didn't break us." I wanted to believe her. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. My marriage had never been legal to begin with, but the paperwork had to be signed anyway. I got the house, the cars, and a settlement of $80,000, my portion of his assets that hadn't been hidden or moved. It wasn't much, considering everything. I found work again. A marketing consulting firm hired me part-time, flexible hours so I could be there for Emma and David. The kids didn't fully understand what had happened, but they understood that their father wasn't coming home. Emma, now 12, asked difficult questions that I couldn't always answer. David, at 10, just seemed sad in a way that broke my heart. But we built a new life. A smaller life, maybe, but an honest one. Jennifer, Karen, and I became close. We met for coffee every week. We went to therapy together. We created something unexpected out of the wreckage. A real friendship built on shared trauma and mutual understanding. We weren't victims anymore. We were survivors. We were witnesses. A year after his arrest, Michael pleaded guilty to all charges. He's serving his sentence at a federal penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana. I never visit. I never write. I've let him go. The necklace sits in a drawer in my bedroom. I never wear it. Sometimes, when I'm having a rough day, I take it out and look at it. The fake diamond catches the light just the way it always did. It's beautiful and worthless. It's a perfect symbol for what we were. But I'm not that woman anymore. The woman who thought a necklace defined her value. The woman who believed in a man without knowing him. The woman who was so desperate to have the perfect life that she didn't notice it was all an illusion. I'm Ashley Patterson. Not because I'm married to a man named Patterson, but because I survived him. Because I'm strong enough to stand alone. Because I learned that the only diamond that matters is the one you find inside yourself. The one that's real. The one that can't be faked. The necklace taught me that. And for that, at least, I'm grateful.